Today I'm going to talk about a merge sort, which sometimes can be explained in quite a sort of complex, overly elaborate way. So I'm just going to try and keep it really simple. So imagine you've got a list of 8 numbers, unsorted list of 8 numbers. The way a merge sort works is like this. Let me just take a copy. I'll just slide these like that. Whoops. Okay. So we've got our original list there. Got all 8 numbers. Right. So a merge sort. So the first thing you do with a merge sort is you break your list into pairs, and you sort the pairs. So we take these first 2 numbers, this pair, and we sort it in order. So 2 and 8, and we do the same thing with the next pair, 7 and 5. 5 comes first, and then we have 1 and 3, and then 4 and 6. Easy. So that's your first iteration. And then what we do, this is where the merge sort terminology comes in. Let's get this in the middle. So we now do the same again, but with this group. So we merge sort this group, these 2 pairs, these 2 mini lists. So we look at this list, we look at this list, and then we look at this list, and we merge them together. And we take the lowest one at the top of the list. So 2 and a 5, so 2 is the lowest. We take that one and build a new list. 5 and an 8, 5 is lower, so that goes next. 7 and 8, 7 is lower, 7 goes there, and the remaining element just goes at the end. Do the same here for these 2 pairs, these 2 lists. So we look at the first 2 elements. The 1 is the lowest, so that comes at the top of the queue. Then we've got a 4 and a 3. 3 comes next, and then we just add the remaining list, the remainder of the other list. I'll just move this back over a bit. Move that back that way, and I'll take a copy again. And okay, here we go again. So we got two lists here, and we're going to merge sort them again. So we start at the first element of each list. So we've got 1, that's obviously the first one, and then out of a 2 and a 3, 2 comes next. Out of a 5 and a 3, 3 follows on from that. 5 and a 4, 4 is the lower number. 5 and a 6, 5 is the lower of the number. 6 and 7, 6 is the lower of the number. And then we just take the rest of what's remaining and stick it on the end. And there we go. There's our sorted list. Let me just show you the whole picture there. And that's exactly how a merge sort works. Obviously, it won't always be for 8 elements, but 8 elements gives you a nice idea of the symmetry and how the whole thing fits together. So we've got an unsorted list there, and that ends up as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. So now all we've got to do is code this. Now to code it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this bit, because this is the kind of engine room of the whole thing. So we have 2 sorted lists, and we want to merge them the way I showed you into this list. So let's so the engine of the whole thing then is to merge 2 sorted lists. So let's just write that. So here's my hello world program. So what I'm going to do is create 2 lists. So let's have a list of integers, and I'll just call it list 1. And that's just a new array list. And we can create a mutable list by using this construct, arrays as list, in the in the brackets there. So arrays as list, and we can put some elements in there. So let me just remind myself what we had. So we've got 2, 5, 7 and 8. Let's stick to the exact numbers. 2, 5, 7 and 8. So it's 2, 5, 7, 8. That's our first list. Cool. And then that's our second list. 2, same construct, and this one's 1, 3, 4, 6. So let's change those values. 1, 3, 4, 6. There's our 2 lists, and we want to pass those into a routine called merge lists. Merge lists, and that's going to accept list 1 and list 2 as a parameter, and I'm going to have as an output a sorted list. So instead of calling that, we'll call that a sorted list. And once we've cracked this, the rest of the merge sort is it's quite simple really. So there's our sorted list, merge list, and obviously we need to create our method. There we go. So it's a list of integer, and it's sorting to integer lists. So let's just click through all that, take all the defaults, and it returns null for the moment. Okay, so the lists are mutable. So what we can do is we can just take the elements off the list as they come in. We're going to loop through the list. Okay, let's initialize the sorted list that we're going to be returning. It's probably the best place to start. So we've got this sorted list, and this is a new integer list. Oops, new array list. Integer. That. And I'm just going to create an integer variable called sorted list size, and I'm just going to set that to 8 because we know that's what it's going to be. Just going to try and keep this really simple. Obviously in real life you wouldn't do it quite like this, but this is just to illustrate the principle. So what we're going to do is we're going to loop through both these lists, the sorted list, number of times. So we'll have an index n, we'll set that to 0, we'll iterate until it becomes sorted list size. So it becomes sorted list size n plus. So that's what we're going to do. Right, so let's get the first element. So remember, let's just remind ourselves what we're doing. So we're doing this bit here. So we're looking at the first 2 elements, and we're checking which one, whether it's this one, or that one that we put here. Simple. So we just say, let's get the values actually. So I'm going to say integer value 1 is equal to list list 1 get 0. So that's the one at the head, one at the top of the queue, front of the queue. And so we get val1, val2, list2 get. So we're getting those two values. And then what we do is we say if val1 is less than val2, put that one as the first element in our merged list. So we'll say sorted list, sorted list dot add val1, because that's lower than val2. We want that before val2, and we'll remove that value. So we'll say list1 dot remove element 0. We'll take that off, and then if that's not true, what do? We take the other one. So we say let's change this round. So we add, so if val2 is greater than val1 or the same values to make a difference, we'll say add val2 and remove that from this list. So let's just run this and see what happens. I happen to know that this isn't going to work, so I'll run it in debug and I'll show you that there's an extra little thing we need to do, but I'll return the sorted list anyway. So it'll all run, and I'm just going to put a little debug point here, and let's debug it and see what happens. Okay, so we've entered the loop, and you can see we've got these two lists. We've got 2, 5, 7, 8. We've got 2, 5, 7, 8, and we've got 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got those two lists, and then the sorted list is size 0. Now, if I just traverse this loop, I'll just go through it once. Okay, so you can see list 2's gone down in size by 1. You'll probably see that the first element's gone. So list 2 is 3, 4, 6. We can actually flip back to here and you can see what's gone on. So the number 1 has gone from this list, and it should have gone into the sorted list. So let's look at the sorted list. There's your number 1. There's only one element. So okay, let's just fast forward through this. We should see this grow and these two should go down. So I'm just going to gradually go through. So you can see it goes to 3. I'll hit F9 just to make it a bit quicker. For some reason it doesn't want to do F9. I'll just do F8. For some reason it doesn't want to go to breakpoint. But there we go, it's 3 and 2. And we've got 3 and 1. And now here, so list 2 is now size 0. So this is where we get the problem. So it's going to try to look at it in list 2. It's going to fail here. So let's just watch it fail. So we go here, go here. So when we run this, there's nothing in list 2. So it tries to get 0. There's nothing there, and it'll fail. There we go. So we've got a index out of bounds exception. Yeah, which is fine. That's what I was expecting. So what we do is, if you remember, when you get to the last few elements, I think we're talking about these two here, we just stick them all in. When there's none left in list 2, we just stick the remaining elements of list 1 into the sorted list, because we know they're sorted. So we can just do an add all. And it turns out there's a very simple way of dealing with this. If I just indent all this and just put a try catch around it, not going to do anything overly complex, so we'll just catch any old exception. Don't really care, we know what it is. And inside this exception block, what we do is we just say sorted list, add all, anything that's remaining in list 1, and similarly anything that's remaining in list 2. One of them will be empty. Whichever one is empty will trigger the exception, and then we'll just chuck the rest of them into the sorted list. So let's try and run this from the top. Yeah, it ran, but I didn't print anything out. Maybe I should have put a print statement in there. So we're going to print out the sorted list. So we're going to print out the sorted list. So just run it again. We should see the actual results sorted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's that. So that's basically the merge sort done. All we've got to do now is just to fiddle around with it and feed in the right data to this merge lists method. So let's do that. So instead of having these two lists, I'm going to start with I'll just expand this. So we'll call this unsorted integers, and I'll use the same numbers. So we've got 2875. So it's 2875, 3146, 3146. And we can probably get rid of that. So there's our starting point. So we've got unsorted integers, and we want a sorted list to come out at the end of this. So the most tricky bit really is the first step, breaking it into pairs. So what we need to do is we need to create lots of single elements. So let me just show you what I mean. I'll just paste these in from the scratch pad I've got. So what we're doing, change that to unsorted list. So unsorted list. So what we're doing is we're creating single element lists. Because these are single element lists, we can then use these single element lists with our merge sort. So let me just paste this in as well. So we've got 8 single elements. And what we want to do now is we want to create, I'll change the name again. I'll change that just so it fits in with that code. It's merge list. So we're creating this list of pairs, and the pair is the outcome of merging these two single elements, which basically just does the bit where it chooses the 2 and the 8, the 5 and the 7, the 1 and the 3. But we don't want to code the logic over and over again, so we'll just use the routine that we already have. Let's go back. So this gives us our pairs, and then once we've got the pairs, we can just add the pairs. In fact, we don't really need that there. Do we want that down there? So we'll create this list of pairs, and then we can add those individual pairs to our list of pairs, our list of lists. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just output that. So we've got pairs. Copy that. Put some quotes around it. So those are our pairs. So I think what I'll do is I'll just show you what we have so far. Let's comment this out for a minute. I'll just run that and show you what we've got. Seems like a long way around, but it means that we get to use this merge list that we've already written. And there we go. So we've got our list of pairs 2 and 8, 5 and 7, 1 and 3, 4 and 6, which you'll recognize from here. So that's that. So now we just move on to the quartets. I think you can see nearly there. So we can do exactly the same again, except this time we can have quartets. So if I just paste this pre-written code here, you'll see where I'm going. So we've got the pairs. Now, what we do with the quartets is we just take the first two pairs and merge them, and the second two pairs and merge them, which is this bit and this bit. So let me just run that for you and you'll see what's gone on. And there we have the two quartets, 2, 5, 7, 8, 1, 3, 4, 6. Okay. So now the last step is actually really, really simple. All we do is we just create our sorted list. Create our sorted list from our two quartets. So let's get 0 and get 1. Now, obviously, in a real world example, it would be a bit more complex than this, but this, I think you'll agree, gives you a nice overview. So this is the last step. Merge those two lists, and we should get our sorted list printed out at the end here. Let's run it and just check. And there we go. We've got the pairs, the quartets, and then the sorted list. Perfect. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.